everyone, welcome back to a new GameMaker Studio video tutorial. This time I'll show you how to create your own room transitions. In previous versions of GameMaker we used to have these built-in room transitions, but now they are gone. So in the last version in GameMaker Studio there are no room transitions at all. So the only way to have them in our project is, well, we'll have to create our own room transitions, and this is what this tutorial is about. So let's begin. Okay, first let's create a new project, and let's start. I'm going to put all the code in a single object in order to make things easier. The way this tutorial is designed is that you start with an empty project, just like I did, so you can follow every step I do. So let's start here. Let's create an object. Let's call this object obj transition handler. I'm going to put 3 events: a create event, a step event, and a draw event. Okay, let's start with this create event. I'm going to drag and execute code action. Okay, now I'm going to create a few variables, and I'll be explaining the use for every one of these variables. So first I'll use a few states inside a switch. You could use constants for these variables, but I'm going to use variables because it will make things easier to follow, and if you want to put this object in any of your projects, this way will be easier. So that's the reason. Okay, let's begin. First, fade out. This is the fade out state. Fade in. This is the fade in state, and a change room. Change room state. Target room. Let's initialize this variable with a negative value, and this is the state of our object. I'm going to initialize this state variable with the fade out state. Okay, now I need only one instance of this object, and this is very important. I'll force inside this create event, I'm going to force this object to create only one instance of itself. I'll do this with the following block of code. If instance number self is less or equal than 1, then do things inside here, but if that's not the case, then just destroy the instance. Okay, now if there are no other instance of this object, let's do the following. Let's create a few variables: alpha level and alpha increment. These are variables to control the level of alpha. Now I'm going to take a screenshot of the room. I'm going to do this in this way. Pay attention. Screenshot. I'm going to create a surface, and I'm going to use the view port, and don't forget this because this is really important. And view height port like we did with the X. Now I'll do the same with the Y, and this line of code is going to take a screenshot of the room in the given port. Now let's clean. Oh, sorry. Let's set the surface target. We do this with this instruction, and here we put the name of the surface. Okay, now I'm going to clear this surface. And now I'm going to render the screenshot. You have to do this manually. I'm going to do this with the with instruction, with all objects. If they are visible, then event perform, obviously the draw event. Well, I'm going to explain this because it's very important. Here I'm performing all the draw events of the all visible objects inside the room, and this is the way this screenshot is rendered in this surface. So I hope you get things clear now. Well, once we did this, now I have to do the following: surface reset target. So this is required in order to continue rendering the game into the screen, because in this instruction I'm forced to render the whole game into this surface, so I have to restore this is the function that does it. Okay, let's continue. Instance, I'm going to deactivate all the instance but this one, as usual. Okay, seems we have finished with this create event. Yes, it's finished. Okay, so now let's continue with the step event. Okay, let's start implementing a switch. If you remember, we created 3 cases for the switch in the create event. Well, we are going to use them now. Case fade out, fade in, and change room. I'm going to swap this one. So fade out, change room, and fade in. This is the order these states are going to be executed. So let's continue with the fade out state. Alpha level plus equal alpha increment. Now if alpha level is greater or equal to 1, then we are going to change the state to change room. Now let's continue with the change room case. Well, in this case we are performing actually the room change. So room go to target room. Now let's activate all the instance, and now I'm going to basically copy part of the code we created in the create event. So I'm not going to explain this again because I already did in a few minutes ago. So it's just the same code we used to create the screenshot, that surface. Again, screenshot, draw, clear, alpha, C, black. Again, the same code. We are going to use this block of code again to take the screenshots. But now this is going to be the screenshot of the new room. That's the difference. Let's perform the draw event. Now I'm going to reset the targets. I'm going to deactivate all the instance, but this one, and this is important. After doing all this, I'm going to change the state once again to fade in, and now I'll continue with the fade in case as expected. Alpha level minus equal alpha increment. This is the same. I'm doing basically the same thing I did here in the fade out case, but now it's the opposite. And now if alpha level is less or equal to 0, then instance activate all and destroy the instance. We have to destroy the instance after performing the fade in case, and we are done. Okay, and finally let's code the draw event. This is the part where the effect is actually performed. Okay, let's begin with the draw set alpha to 1. Now let's render the screenshot we took a few minutes ago. Screenshot 0 0. Sorry for that. Okay, now let's set the alpha to the alpha level, and let's set the black color in order to draw a black rectangle. This is what makes the transition. If you use older versions of GameMaker, the transition effect I'm creating here is the all transition effect number 21. If you use old versions of GameMaker, you know what I'm talking about, but if you are new to GameMaker Studio, that's not a problem. You're going to see it in a few minutes. So, okay, now let's draw this rectangle. Let's fill the arguments, room width, room height, and false, because this is a fill-in rectangle. And now let's restore the alpha to 1. Okay, and we're finished. Well, basically this is all the code we needed. But now in order to test this transition, I have to create a few sprites and a few rooms, obviously. So let's begin creating just a simple sprite. I'm going to use a 64 by 64, and I'm going to paint this yellow. That's okay. Okay, this is our sprite. Now I'm going to create an object. I'll call it obj moving box, and I'm going to create only a few events here. Just a create, and draw event. In the create event, I'm going to set speed in order to make this object move. Just h speed equal to 1. With only this line, I'm going to make this box moves. Well, here just let's draw the object. As you can see, this is very simple. Okay, so I have my obj transition handler and the moving box. The final object, I'm going to create the last object. This is I'm going to call this object obj change room, and I'm going to use a create event for this object. This object is going to be very simple. Just I'm going to activate an alarm event here. I set it to 2 seconds, and target room name to negative value. This is just for checking avoid bugs, so you can omit it. It won't make any difference, but anyways, it's recommended. So okay, now I'll create an alarm event, and inside this alarm event I'm going to create an instance of our obj transition handler in this way. Instance create. The coordinates not important because this is a pure code object, so that doesn't really matter. And I'm going to put this instance in this variable in order to set the target room to using the target room variable of the calling object. You're going to see in a few minutes the way I perform this. It's really cool, so just wait a few minutes. Okay, well, this object is finished. So I have my 3 objects created. The only thing remaining now is to create, obviously I'll need to create 2 rooms. Without 2 rooms there are no possible room transitions. This is quite obvious. Let's put some colors. This orange will be okay. And now I'm going to create 2 objects here, a change room object and obj moving box. Sorry, it seems I forgot to assign a sprite. That's it. Now it's okay. And now the important part is that I'm going to use the creation code here in the object change room. I'm going to use this creation code, and I'm going to set the target room as room 1. This is for the room 0. And now I'm going to create another room 1. I'm going to use another color for this one, and the same. I put this object here, and in the creation code I'll do the opposite. Instead of room 1, now the target room will be room 0. And of course, let's put just other moving box. And okay, it seems we are done. Now I'm forgetting something important. This object transition handler must be persistent, and let's put a depth of -100. That will be okay. Now, since this object is persistent, we could face a problem of creating multiple instances of this object. But if you remember, in the create event, we make sure this will never happen with this line of code, with this if. So that will not be a problem at all. So okay, let's try it. All right, there you can see the transition effect, the transition room effect. It's a little bit slow. I'm going to in the settings 60 frames per second in order to speed it up. I want this here. Okay, let's try it one more time, and there you can see the transition effect being performed from one room to the other. As I said, this is the transition number 21 in all versions of GameMaker. Well, this is all. I hope you find this video useful, and I hope to see you in my upcoming video tutorials. Bye.